Well, this is interesting. So let's unpack one of the weirdest, most exciting breakthroughs in material science, a visible time crystal. Not quantum lab voodoo, but a microscopic, see it with your own eyes phenomenon from Colorado Boulder. We'll break this down, why it matters, where it could show up first, from anti-counterfeiting to future storage, cost, timelines, and risks, and what founders and tech folks should do next. So tell us what's going on with these time crystals, John.
Yeah, we've covered time crystals before, but not this size. And I think we've covered them where they only last a few milliseconds or microseconds as well. I can't remember. So let's dive into this one specifically. So scientists have created the first time crystal that you can actually see with your naked eye. So think about it like a perpetual motion machine that's made of light. It keeps moving and changing patterns forever without any energy input. So it's like a clock that runs eternally without batteries. So what's actually happening here is that the researchers at University of Colorado are, Colorado Boulder used liquid crystals, which is the same stuff that's found in your phone screen. And what they do is they shined light on them to create swirling patterns that repeat endlessly. And so under a microscope, these look like psychedelic tiger stripes that dance forever in repeated cycles. So why it's revolutionary is because previous time crystals were microscopic and they required expensive quantum computers to create. This breakthrough makes time crystals visible and uses everyday materials, which opens the door to practical applications like unbreakable security features on money and revolutionary new ways to store data. The wow factor in all of this is that the time crystals essentially break one of the fundamental rules of physics because they exist in constant motion, even in their lowest energy state. So it's like discovering matter that naturally disobeys what we thought was possible, which could lead to technologies that seem purely science fiction. What are your thoughts on this, Craig? Do you think this is a breakthrough that's going to help us in the future?
I am not 100% sure. I
Me
mean,
neither.
like, it's cool that we can see this, literally repeating stripe-like waves, like psychedelic tiger stripes that persist for hours and continuously. It runs forever without a battery. So what does that mean? Are we close to perpetual energy? Can we tap into this phenomenon? So the time crystal breaks the time translation symmetry in a way that creates direct observable pattern. So, this is great. So they're talking about using it potentially in money or counterfeiting. So this is really interesting, but it proves that time translation symmetry breaking at a visible scale. So a new phase of matter, practical to study. So now we have a new phase of matter we can study that we couldn't study before, that was purely theoretical. So this opens door to, like I said, tamper-proof authentication and time pattern watermarks and temporal data encoding, which would be really interesting. Bridges theory to engineerable materials, potential platforms for optical and temporal computing. Now, I'm trying to get my head around what temporal computing might mean and how. What are your thoughts on that, John?
I don't know. So I wasn't able to do a super deep dive into this. Just to kind of talk through this a little bit, previous time crystals, we talked about this. They required quantum computers operating at temperatures colder than outer space. So this worked at room temperature, which used materials you could buy commercially. So that's the huge difference here, which I think is making this a more viable technology. But we're talking about something that was considered theoretically impossible just a decade ago, right? And now you can literally watch it happen under a microscope. So they essentially found a loophole that lets matter exist in eternal motion without consuming energy, which blows my mind. And so I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around what this actually means for technology and for science, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So they're talking about, when you talk about data storage technologies, Scientists envision stacking multiple time crystals to create revolutionary data store technology system. Each crystal layer could store information in its unique time-based patterns. This approach could lead to ultra-high density storage devices, self-maintaining data systems, information storage that doesn't degrade over time, and novel computing architecture based on temporal patterns. So like it opens up a whole new time lock, all sorts of weird stuff that we can start do. And future innovations with liquid crystal applications could include self-organizing computer systems, autonomous pattern recognition devices, advanced optical computing solutions, and smarter materials that respond to environmental changes. And one of the things is that these are relatively cheap. These crystals are, the materials are inexpensive. Liquid crystals, coated glass, dyes. The costs hinge on coating precision, line speed, and yield. So they have to get that down to be able to do this en masse.
Yeah. And just, we didn't talk about this, but the temporal computer, right? It's actually a theoretical computing system, and you're going to love this. It processes information across multiple time dimensions or incorporates time as a fundamental computational resource rather than just a parameter.
Okay.
Yeah. So like,
and I can run that on my Mac now, can I?
Yeah, you can. No, the reality is that their concepts today are largely theoretical or only exist as specialized algorithms running on conventional computers. But the researchers are exploring what's called a neuromorphic computing, which mimics how biological brains process temporal information, which we kind of covered, right? Optical computing systems that use light's temporal properties, and obviously quantum computers that might actually be able to handle temporal superposition. And we have covered concepts of multiple time dimensions or multiple dimensions, right? Like where they observe things. So it's not too far-fetched that now we're talking temporal computing.
Yeah, it's not too far-fetched. It just, again, I need to have a few more conversations around what does that mean. It's great when you say that. I'm okay, so I can calculate how does that work? What does that mean? Can you change the past, change the future? Are we just calculating multiple paths, throwing this kind of time crystals into quantum computing to determine the future?
Yeah, it makes me think when we're talking about that, it makes me think of that movie with Ben Affleck where he built that doomsday computer where it reverse engineered it. But anyways,
Paycheck or something like that.
Paycheck. Yeah.
So time crystals don't create energy from nothing. They maintain patterns without external power source once initiated. While they represent perpetual motion within the system, they cannot be used to generate unlimited energy, as this would violate fundamental physics laws. However, we seem to be breaking fundamental physics laws almost every day now as we discover new things. So that may be something that breaks once we apply quantum physics to it rather than fundamental physics. Their value lies in maintaining patterns and information rather than energy production. So I'm really interested in this new phase of matter discovered through rigorous scientific research and all the new scientific fields and stuff we're going to get out of this as a result. So, time crystals flip the script on things settle down. They don't, at least not here. If temporal order becomes an engineering primitive, security, storage, and sensing all change, keep experimenting, keep shipping, because the future won't wait. It oscillates. Things don't stay still. Yeah. And, we're going to engineer that into everything moving forward. Let us know what you think about these time crystals and what it means for the future. What do you got going on, John?
Oh, just working away, helping companies secure government funding. I'm maybe heading to a couple events. Not sure what's coming up. So this will probably come out after Elevate.
Yeah.
So Elevate probably would have been a great time. But yeah, how about you, Craig? What do you have?
So assuming this is November, we got a Flowgrammer event and a Toronto Startup Investor Drinks. If you're in the GTA area and want to learn or be part of a Flowgrammer, N8N, or Vibe Coding meetup group, join us. Go to flowgrammer.ca and check out the upcoming events and join us. If you want to find out more about how to take your startup to the next level, head over to torontostarts.com. Our events there, Startup Investor Drinks. So we do monthly. It's open bar, open pitch. It's an intimate event, and the conversations are next level. So check all that out there, and we'll see you in the future. Anything else, John?
No, that's it.
So thanks everyone for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. We really appreciate it. Have a great one.